I've been trying to get this video recorded all day, so finally, here we are at 6 o'clock in the evening or so. But wanted to share this insight with you that I got from a podcast I was listening to last week called "Invest Like the Best," and it's from July 11th. And the guest was a guy who runs a private equity fund, and there was a really interesting piece of career advice in there where he tells a story about a performance coach who tells people what their calling is, but for a few high performers among his clients, it turned out to actually be a disaster for them. Now, why would that be? You might be thinking, well, if you think about it, if you if I were to tell you what you're meant to do, would you take that as good news or bad news? What if what you're doing is completely different from your calling? What if you're some super successful, wealthy, say, investor, and it turns out your calling is to be a third grade teacher? Uh, that could be pretty devastating because you'd probably know it's true, and it means that you'd have to give up a lot. You might have to give up your current lifestyle, and uh, it could be quite the upheaval. And we know how people are when it comes to loss aversion, right? Uh, it's tough to give up, especially, or at least the fear of losing is so much more powerful than whatever opportunity, whatever gain could be coming your way. So, um, and so, most of us, if you're watching this now, you're living beyond subsistence level. You got your basic needs taken care of. So you'd think that people in that situation would have more time for leisure, or at least doing a job that they love. And yet most of us spend most of our time doing something we hate. Even the last survey I came across from 2022 said that half of Americans wouldn't wish their job on their worst enemy. So that's how bad it is. So why is it that we spend so much of our time doing something that we don't want to do? And I wonder if part of it is, well, part of it might be, do you even know what you want to do? Or are you running away from what you want to do? Could that be a problem? What would you have to give up to go after, what you want to do? So it very much could be that there's a fear of that. And so that just, ever since I heard that last week, it's just been kind of rattling around my head. In my line of work, I've changed careers, and I think it's been a successful transition to this point. And yet, I still need to ask myself, what am I doing that I don't want to do? Uh, where am I pretending that I like doing something that I don't really like doing? And is it really in my best interest to do that? Am I better off focusing on just what I do enjoy doing? So, I ask myself that in terms of just my typical day, as well as big picture in my business. I think is a good question for you to reflect on too. And how can you start to make the transition gradually, at least? I don't think it happens all overnight, but what what are some small steps you can take to shift away from doing things that you don't enjoy doing, things that are really like a drain on your energy, and focusing more on your zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks likes to describe it? How do you get into that circle and stay there so that 100% of what you're doing is what you're meant to do, not anybody else? So just food for thought there for you. I think that inner work is definitely hard to do, and it's not something I always enjoy doing, but it has definitely helped me make that career transition. And I believe that it will definitely help create a better quality of life, better quality of work life too.